Hey everyone, I'm Nicole.
And I'm Gabrielle.
And we are the hosts of the Spiritual Sisters podcast.
Join us every week as we discuss all the spiritual topics like astrology, mediumship, psychic insights, and so much more.
We are often joined by others we have met along our spiritual journey who are well versed in many of these areas.
Get ready for enlightening discussions and interviews and personal experiences that we hope will expand your mind and get you thinking outside of the box.
Whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker or just beginning your spiritual journey, there's something here for everyone.
Check us out every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts. See you then.
Bye!
Welcome back, guys, to the Soul Ecosystem podcast. I am your host, Anna Rising, a professional soul contract reader. And on the podcast today, I have a very special guest, Leyla the Healer. That is her handle on Instagram. I am so excited because I've been looking forward for this call for such a long time. I really wanted to dive into her soul contract with you guys because she is such a powerful intuitive, and if anybody's going to appreciate a good soul contract, it is a powerful intuitive. I gotta tell you guys so much about her and just the whole entire process. Like, just logging on, trying to start recording this with her, like my screen started glitching. I'm like, okay, I know this is gonna be like a really heavy sesh. So Leyla, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on. I know how I found you, but I'm going to give you like a couple of minutes to kind of lay down who you are, what it is that you do, because I distinctly remember when I started following you, and it was because your page was just radiating with authenticity and power and just being so authentically you. I absolutely loved that, and I was like, immediate follow. And then I ended up being a client of yours, and I absolutely love your work. So please give us an idea of what got you into the spiritual biz.
Yes. Hello, everybody. And thank you so much for having me on your podcast. Like, I seriously appreciate that so much. I love talking about, first of all, I love talking about soul contracts. I love talking about the Akashic Records. I love it all. I love all of the spiritual. It is so interwoven into me, but
yes.
But how I got started, such an interesting question, honestly. So I feel like I've always had connection to spirit ever since I was probably 3 or 4 years old. I mean, I could feel people touching me when I was little. I could feel people talking to me. And then there was points in my life where, they would kind of pop in and out for me, spirit. But for the most part, I kind of blocked it out. I feel like I was just always, there was always an underlying spiritual thing about me. And then what really, really, really pushed me into it was 2020, was the pandemic. And I was a burnt out mental health counselor, and I couldn't, I was just so unhappy in my life. I was helping kids in crisis all the time. The kids during 2020, I mean, in general, they've never been the same since. And it was such a traumatic time for so many of us, and the mental health was really, really bad at that time. And it was really wearing and tearing on me. I remember just sitting in my parents' garage being like, is this really the life that I signed up for? This fucking sucks, So I kept seeing this girl on my page. She was so happy all the time, and it was pissing me off that she was happy all the time. And I noticed what she was talking about why she was happy all the time is because she was doing Reiki all the time. And I was like, oh, if she's happy all the time and I feel sad and miserable, maybe I should go see her for a session and maybe get happier. So I started to do Reiki energy healing sessions, and she was pulling layers and layers and layers of unhappiness and sadness and darkness out of my field. And over time, I started to get better. My mental health started to get better. I'm a person who has a Virgo and Chiron. If people don't know that, it's a wounding of bad mental health, past life issues with mental health, So it was something that I was struggling with while being a counselor. It was really hard. So I did the Reiki and then I was like, I'm going to learn Reiki. And then I learned Reiki. And then ever since then, I have been on a journey to acquire as much spiritual knowledge as I can because I feel like the more healing modalities you know, the more you can like help people, you know?
I love it.
So, yeah, and then I quickly became a licensed hypnotherapist. I quickly became like into like shamanism, shamanic techniques. I learned how to read the records. I learned how to do like quantum hypnotherapy. Like I learned everything that I could. And something that's like I feel like that's special about me is that I've made a lot of my own methods and frameworks for these things because I've seen the gaps of where they don't fully get to the root of the problem. And I am a
That is,
Capricorn
oh my
through
God, that
and
is like
through.
literally, sorry, I don't mean to
Yeah, no,
interrupt you.
no, go
That's
ahead. No,
literally
go
like the
ahead.
first sentence of your soul contract, that you make your own system. You are able,
Yeah.
like, you're so hypersensitive to systems that don't work, and you know how to make one, create one of your own in order to help people evolve. And I, sorry, I had to mention that because that's literally the first
I
thing I
love
said
that you
about
said
you.
that. No, no, I love that you said that because it's true though, because I can see the gaps and the problems, and I'm like,
Yes.
okay, this isn't working. I actually last night, it's funny we were talking about this last night in my school. I actually have a school for like intuitive psychics, all this healers, right? And we were doing a script, and I had just released like one of my own hypnotherapy scripts and I was feeling like really vulnerable and like, oh God, like I don't know if they're gonna like this. I don't know if this is gonna be good, you know? And
Uh-huh.
then they all told me, like, wow, it's so authentic. Like this is what, we were missing. We needed this, you know? And I'm like, yeah, like of course, like I made that structure because I saw the structures that weren't working, you know?
Yeah.
And then another thing about me too, which I feel like it's because I'm a Capricorn, is I'm a business queen. So I feel like part of my genius that I've been really stepping into lately is helping healers move through the woundings that we have, like persecution, fear of being a leader, fear of using your voice, fear of being seen.
Oh my
I've
God.
been really honing my genius in creating healings that really target all of these woundings. So that is something that I've been working on really heavily lately.
And you are
For
a great saleswoman. Like, I just have to say, like, first of all, you're a wonderful writer and you know how to sell things. Like, there's just,
yeah,
again, it's this layer of authenticity to you, but also that you're able to put your thoughts and your words into such a beautiful way.
thank you. Thank
And
you. That really
again,
means a lot.
that you were incarnated to do that. You were incarnated to do that because you have a program that says that you're going to be a great writer. You have such a vivid imagination, like such amazing imagination, that you were able to, like, you have the power of words, and
Yeah.
I see that all over your threads all the time. I'm like, oh my
Thank you.
gosh,
I'm like,
what
this
did
is my
Leyla post
place.
today?
That's awesome that you say that, honestly, because sometimes I'm like, shit, man, like, am I saying like too much? But that is something that I get all the time that people are like, I followed you because you're like authentic. And I
Yes.
think in the rise of AI, like people can really tell the difference of
Yes, they're like starving
authenticity.
for it.
Yeah, they are starving for it. They
Yeah.
are. And that's why I think so many people flock to me and they like want to work with me. It's not even that I'm saying like crazy shit. It's just I'm saying it in a way that you understand very
And
potently.
you're owning it. You're owning yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I honestly at this point in my life, I don't and I know this sounds like cliche, but I really don't know how to live any other way
I'm going to
than be
speak to that.
myself.
I'm going to
Yeah.
speak to that
Please,
because
please.
I'll mention it now just in case I forget. But that is a running pattern for you throughout your lifetimes. You have a spiritual gift called soul, which
Mm.
is as open and just soft and warm as you would imagine it to be. You are so in tune with yourself, in tune with your soul and your soul's desires. And I saw that throughout all of your timelines, that you have this capacity like of knowing yourself, understanding yourself, and that gives you a lot of crap from others. That gives you like
It
the
really
brighter you
does.
shine, right, the more you
Yeah.
attract the darkness, and all the people start like coming to you. They're trying to put you down, they're trying to put you in your place. Oh, you're not
Yes.
supposed to act like that, you're not supposed to
Yes.
be like that.
That has been a theme for a majority of my life. I was actually just crying about that last night. Like I'm gonna
You're a
keep it
magnet to
fucking
that,
real. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it fucking real. Like when you shine really bright, sometimes you're gonna have haters. I mean, last year I was literally put on a witch hunt online by a bunch of healers who didn't like me and were speaking ill about me, and I didn't even do anything to them. So it's just like it happens to me all the time. I know, it totally was, and it sucked ass. But you're so right about that, and it doesn't matter like what field I'm in. It even happened in the mental health field as well. Like it was, you're shining too bright. We don't like that. We're like actually a little bit like offended and scared that you're shining so bright, and we need to control it.
You trigger their own insecurities. You trigger their own like, oh well, why can't I be so happy and in love with myself and authentic to me?
Yes.
So you trigger that in them, and they're like,
I think I bring up a lot of people's shadows when I work with them without even knowing it, of just being myself. Yeah. It happens all the time. Even people who love me, it happens all the time, and I'm just like, I don't, it's been a journey of like, why is this happening to me, but also at the same time, like you said, like, it is part of who I am, and I think it does mirror to people, for them to be able to project,
Oh my gosh, you took the words right out of my mouth, because I was going to say that usually like people are mirrors to you. What you get from people, like they're mirroring back what's inside of you, right?
Yeah.
But you are like on like times 1,000. Like you're a multiplier of that, and that kind of really triggers people's healing work. And and really, as much as you trigger them, they should be grateful, because you are showcasing the parts of themselves that they haven't healed yet. So anytime, just for you guys, anytime you feel triggered by somebody, like jealous of someone, it's because you have the potential to have what this person has. That you're able to attain that. So they're providing you with an opportunity to be like, hey, I know I can have that. I shouldn't be jealous of this person. Like I should go and get that myself, because it's clearly what you want, right?
Yeah, that's something I say all the time, and you just said that. It's wild. I always say that. I'm like, hey, if you're jealous or you're feeling some type of way, you use that as fuel to fucking get where you need to go. Don't like put it on me. Don't put it on anybody else. Like take accountability, own it, and use it as fuel to fuel yourself. Yeah.
We're just like on the same wavelength.
I know. We are. But I say that it's crazy. Like you're saying shit all the time, and you're also picking up energy that is very like it's happening in my day to day.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Just I feel like that's just so common for spiritual leaders in general, but especially that I saw that in your soul contract. I'm like, I feel like that's happening a lot for her for some reason. So I wanted to, I literally highlighted it. I'm like, I need to mention this to her.
Yeah, it happens at almost every phase too when I expand. Like usually when I expand, I'll lose a lot of people and then gain a lot of people. So it's really interesting. Like you brought that up, like, because I do feel like I am in a little bit of like an expansion right now. So right now that is happening, and it's equally as heartbreaking. And I don't think that people realize this, like too, like, your favorite spiritual leaders and healers are humans, and your favorite spiritual leaders and humans grieve too. And your favorite spiritual humans and healers, they get heartbroken too from your energy. Like we're humans too. And I think a lot of times people forget that because they hold us to a higher standard. And hey, like I'm okay. Yep, I'm okay with being held at a pedestal, but at the end of the day, I want you to remember that I am also a human, and I am also on a soul journey, and I am also trying to be better every day in myself. I am not competing with anybody else but myself. you know?
That's so well said.
Yeah. Because
And
it's true, you know? Like,
yeah,
I don't want to compare myself to anybody else. The only person I want to be better than is me the day before, you know?
that's why people flock to you, because that's like soul wisdom. That's wisdom that you learn throughout multiple lifetimes, and
Yeah.
you are such an old soul. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm going to date myself with this reference, and I don't know if you're going to get this reference, but
No, go
it
ahead.
just came up on my Instagram feed. Just a clip from this animated movie. I think it was the second Ice Age, maybe the third.
Oh,
I don't
uh-huh.
know. But
Okay.
there's this like sloth grandma, and I think she's voiced by, I want to say Wanda Sykes, but I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, she is. She is. I know what you're talking
that
about.
is
Yes.
your energy. This lady speaks what's on her mind. Like, it just flies out. Like, she was oversharing. She was like talking about, like, I think there was this scene where she was talking about her past like lovers or something. It was so hilarious. But
That is me. That
that's,
is me.
yeah, that's
It
the
is.
energy I get. Like, so
Yeah.
nonchalant. Like, I don't give a flying
Yeah.
fuck.
You know what I also say about myself? This is so funny that you said this too. I feel like I was like one of the grandmas in like the town village
Oh my,
long time ago
yes. Oh my god. Okay.
who just sat on like the bench of the town
Oh my
and
god.
people came and talked to me.
I'm gonna take you a little
Mhm.
deeper into that,
Okay. Okay.
because now like now it's gonna say like, oh, like I saw that, but like you just said that, but no. So when I looked into your Akashic records, so
Okay.
before like I start officially like going into your soul contract, I've already spoken to it. When I reference soul contracts, guys, soul contracts are found via the numbers in your date of birth. The modality specifically that I use is called the Destiny Matrix or the Soul Matrix. It's a Russian modality. Some people call it Soul Matrix, some people call it Destiny Matrix. And it's a combination of numerology, astrology, tarology,
Oh.
and Jewish mysticism. So they took
Oh.
all of these delicious different spiritual teachings and mashed it up together in a way that can help you like see your soul contract digest, like in a digestible way,
Uh-huh.
in
Okay.
order to understand what you incarnated here for, what blessings you are going to receive in this life. It's massive. Like, there's so
That's
much information.
amazing. I'm like, fuck, I want to learn that.
It's I feel like I need to make a course on it
I was
eventually.
just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that. Like, Spirit was like, oh, she needs to teach this.
I'm absolutely in love with it, and
Yeah,
I've
we need it.
spoken a lot too. The first time I saw my soul contract, I was like, immediate purchase course, like immediate,
Yeah.
like I'm going to learn everything there is to learn about this. But anyway, so yes, looking at your soul contract and going into your past lives, going into your Akashic records, that's the intuitive part. When I looked into your Akashic records, like I mentioned, you have this like that sloth grandma vibe from Ice
Mm-hmm.
Age
Yep.
that doesn't give a flying fuck, just says
Yep.
whatever's on her mind, no filter, so
Mhm.
uninhibited, so
Yes.
unapologetically herself and
Yes.
authentic. You were, first of all, as soon as I looked into it, I heard from the stars. I heard that you were from the stars. I don't know
Okay.
if you have ever vibed with like star seeds or anything, but I specifically got Lemuria for you. And
Yes.
I,
Yes.
I always, no matter how many times I look up Lemurians, Pleiadians, Arcturians, I always confuse them. So I looked it up for you. I'm like, what is Lemuria?
Okay. Okay.
Lemuria is basically like the oldest of the starseeds from what I read. It is the
Yep.
motherland. It is
Yes.
the
Yes.
motherland for the starseeds. And I'm like, okay, so this chick is like OG. This chick is like
This chick has been around the block, bitch.
dude, you
Yeah.
grew up in like this matriarchal kind of society, and you were a matriarch. And
Ugh.
throughout the rest of your soul contract, I saw that theme keep popping up, that you were meant to be this matriarch to other women, kind of like this
Mm.
gatekeeper or somebody that stands at the bridge and helps women pass through to the highest version of themselves.
Oh my God. Okay. Holy shit. Oh, wow.
So
You
yeah,
really did go in.
it was giving me like, like Amazonians, like Wonder Woman is an Amazonian.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
was giving me those vibes.
Oh
A
shit.
system of not an ecosystem, like a culture where there was only women. Women were on the planet, and it was this thriving society. So much, like, so full of feminine energy, so balanced.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I was then curious. I'm like, okay, so like she really likes to incarnate as a woman, and then you
I
took it a step
do.
further.
I
You took it a
do.
step further, and you're like, no, like I basically always incarnate as a woman. I'm like,
Yeah.
why?
Women
You're like,
only. It's in my contract of
oh my
women
god.
only. Yeah. I don't think I've ever been a man, dude. I don't want to be a man. I don't want to be a man.
I asked you,
Mm-mm.
I'm like, why choose the gender that, like that's harder? You're like, I like the challenge. I'm like, okay.
Dude, you can't make this shit up, I swear to God. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes.
And can I just even say, for people who are like, because we're not showing our bodies right now, right? We're not showing our faces.
Yeah.
Thank God, because I didn't want to. But like, I like to turn off my camera too, guys. So I picked. Can I talk about this body for a second? Because this
Yeah.
body is redonkulous, okay? This body is so radical, okay? I am like 6'1". Okay, I am 6 feet tall and 1 inches. Okay,
No way. What did I say
yes
about
way.
Amazonian?
I
What did I
know,
say?
I know. That's why I'm saying this, because I'm like, this fucking tracks. And I'm huge. Okay, like I'm a big bitch. Okay, and when I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm like, I'm shaming myself. I'm a big bitch. Okay, I take up a lot of space. I'm very, very tall. I'm very, very brown. Okay. Like, you will not miss me. You know what I mean? Like,
And that's exactly why you chose this body to incarnate, because
ugh,
you knew you had to
man,
own that. You knew you had to take up space and
I
be
really
unapologetic
did.
about it.
I really did, because there's something else in my records that I have a lot of eating issues in the
Mm-hmm.
past. I've been very poor many times, and
Yes.
something that my soul is working on is taking up space and being okay with it, and being a bigger woman and being
Mm-hmm.
okay with it. This body is very radical, and I was telling my friend, I was like, listen, like, this body is hard, like, I
Yeah.
chose this body, but damn, it's hard sometimes, because I
Mm-hmm.
do stick out. I can't hide, I can't hide, and I'm not meant to. But the Amazonian woman is this body.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's not small. She's not slender or petite.
No,
She
no,
is.
she's very strong also. Like,
Yes.
I've been like lifting weights really hard lately, and I'm telling you, like, I could like Mack truck this body. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I could be like a bodybuilder, body lifter vibe,
I can
like,
see that. I
yeah,
can see, oh my gosh, that reminds me of this video I recently saw that was empowering women in the different body types they had. And they were just reminding them that not everybody looks like a gymnast, okay, like a thin, muscular gymnast. Like, they were
right.
showing women that, like, oh my God, they do the little twirl while they're holding a weight, and then they freaking chuck it. They
Oh,
chuck it like really
yes.
far. Like,
Yes.
those women are like, they're
Dude,
big, they are
I used to do
powerful.
that. I used to do that. Yeah, I used to do
What?
that. I actually was really fucking good at that. It's actually called shot put, okay?
Oh my
Um,
God.
and I used to shot put, and I was like almost the best in my state, because I was like so tall and I could
Oh
throw
my
it so
God.
far. Yeah, I would throw it like 40 feet almost. So that's pretty crazy. It was like an 8-pound ball. It was very like Miss Trunchbull and Matilda.
Yes.
But
Yes.
like super powerful shit. Like I really like that. And that's another thing. I was like, this is so past life. Like I've done this so many times. Like this shot put shit. Yeah, no, that's so funny. You're saying all these like things. You're like, I watched this video. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. That's so funny. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I literally didn't even know what it was called, but I don't know
Yeah.
why it popped up into my head.
It's so
Um,
funny.
damn
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you, this body was very intentional, but shit, I'm gonna keep it fucking real. It's not easy. It's not fucking easy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've wondered that about myself because I'm not necessarily like really small either. I'm 5'10",
Oh,
and I
what?
have
I didn't know
always,
that.
yeah, I might
What?
look short, but I feel like you just automatically assume that women are shorter. You don't expect that they're a little
It's
bit taller, but I'm
so,
a
yes.
little tall,
You
and I've
are
always
tall.
felt like I wanted to kind of
Shrink.
like shrink,
Yep.
blend in with
Yep.
the masses, not have my
Yep.
head sticking up above the crowd over everybody
Yeah.
else.
So that means your husband is like tall then.
Yeah, he's 6'4".
What? Oh my
Mm.
god, that's fucking hot. Thank God. Okay. Oh my
Yes, we
God.
love a
And he
six
picked a
foot four
tall
guy.
baddie too. He picked a
Yeah.
tall baddie. Thank God. That really hurts my soul when I see a tall guy with a short girl. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we
Yeah.
doing? That's a whole other conversation, but you know
It's
what I
like
mean.
leave some girls for the short kings.
Right, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, what about the tall bitches?
They don't think
Yeah.
about us.
No, they don't. Yeah, no.
But yeah, that's very
So you're saying I want to go back to this because I'm interested in this too. So you're saying that there's something in my soul contract where I'm supposed to like initiate women?
you are a matriarch. I will tell you
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
exactly where it is. I
Yeah,
think I
tell me.
highlighted it. I just went down to your subconscious programs because I'm like, I'm pretty sure that she has the writing program where she's an amazing writer. And I'm like, yep. Um, all right. So first of all, you have a lot of feminine wounds that you need to
Yes.
clear.
Yes.
I'm gonna speak a little bit to your destiny.
Please.
Because for your destiny number, one of the numbers you have is the number 4, and it's talking about you needing to take back your power, learning to harness it, and embracing your femininity. And I feel like that is something that's underlined for you throughout every lifetime. Here's how I'll tell you. I'll see it, how I saw it.
Uh-huh.
I saw that, like, I saw several lifetimes, right? I saw them in different lines. I gotta flip this page because I wrote it down.
Okay.
And I saw that each line started with you putting in so much work. Like you were a workhorse. You wouldn't stop. You were put into positions where you had to put a lot of work into your body or into whatever job it is that you had, or just for survival. You had to do a lot of work.
Yes.
And then there was always kind of like this pivot moment, like this little divot in the line. And it showed me that a lot of lifetimes after this like kind of little hill, it started going downwards for you. Like you experienced either prison or abandonment or death. And as you are going about this lifetime, as you're going about this incarnation, you are recalibrating your lifetimes. And this is something, I don't know if I've heard about this or I just received the message and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just ask Leyla and see how she feels about this. But I saw that you were essentially, it's like looking at guitar strings, right? And it's like somebody plucked the top one this lifetime. And as it's vibrating, it's making the rest of them vibrate. So you're kind of recalibrating your lifetimes as you go along. Since time doesn't exist, you're kind of simultaneously living out all of your lifetimes at once.
Lifetimes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And where those lifetimes would pivot and you would start like you would be imprisoned or you would be punished for being yourself by being authentically yourself in this lifetime, speaking your truth, saying what you need to say, sharing your gift like you did in the lifetime before, mind you. You also did that in your previous lifetime. You're recalibrating the others. And you're kind of like bringing that pivotal moment back up so that when that happens, when that pivotal moment happens where something, you experience either trauma or loss, it kind of starts raising you back up to instead embrace your authenticity and be like, no, this is who I am. You're not gonna shut this down. Excuse you. So
that's wild.
But we were speaking specifically to you. Here it is. Okay. The High Priestess. You have a High Priestess talent. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, this makes sense why she's like Amazonian vibes. She's from a matriarchy. You know how to gather like-minded people around you.
Yes.
You know how to teach them how to live by the same moral codes that you hold yourself to. And you absolutely love acquiring knowledge and sharing it with others. Like as you go along, you're like, you guys will never guess what I just read. You guys will never guess what I just learned.
Yes. Spot on.
And when you combine those two, it's like a custom-made algorithm for success. So you essentially custom made this.
That's wild.
And this talent, like, I'm like, okay, I specifically see her leaning into this to kind of help women, help them recuperate, recover from the patriarchy, and start a new line of feminism.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah.
That's a big mission.
Woo! Yeah, girl. I felt that shit in my body when you were saying that. I was just like listening here, like just listening to what you were saying. It was like, oh my God. Yeah. Because that's what's been happening in my work. It's so hard to put words to this of like, what the fuck, like I'm actually doing. But I say this all the time, like, you know, like with everything going on in the world and, you know, like part of my work every day, like why I get up and do this every single fucking day is so that people can reclaim parts of themselves, change their timelines, change their outcomes so that they can actually go out there and be the fucking change that we need.
So look at you. Not only are you healing your own timelines, all of them, as you're going through this, you're also healing other people's timelines. So it's like you're retuning a whole entire guitar story. I don't know why guitars keep popping up, but that's how I saw it.
That's really
it's
interesting.
Like somebody plucks one string and all the guitars start humming.
And I feel like I'm tuning them at the same time as like somebody's playing them. That's what it's giving me too, you know?
And someone's going
that is so fucking interesting. And I think that's why like the journey has been so impactful, is because it helps me and it helps them, you know?
Yeah. You've found what it is that your soul came here to do. And like you mentioned, you were like, I don't even know how to put it into words because there's not a word for this yet. You're a trailblazer. So there's not going to be a word for what it is that you do until you make a word for it. And you're really good at that because you make stuff up all the time. Like you are so good at creating systems that didn't exist before because you're like, well, this is dumb.
I know. That is exactly what I do. I'm like, this is so dumb. Like, oh my God, what are we doing? You sound like a robot. Ew.
There's
I know.
There's gotta be a better way. Yeah. And Leyla is the one that finds the better way.
That is fully true. And you're right. Yeah. I'm like, fuck, now I need to think of a word for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like people, you know, the more that I call in like my soul aligned clients and like the people I'm really, really supposed to work with, like I can feel those contracts of like me helping them remember who the fuck they are.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
I feel like you're attracting that same tribe that you had on this planet with the matriarchy.
Wow. Do you think you were there?
I think I was there.
I think you were there too.
I think was there because
Yeah.
I got goosebumps as you said it, and I'm like, oh my god,
I know,
that's
because
my dream. That is my dream to make a
I
matriarchy.
know, I know, I
You
know.
know,
Like,
if it was only the
seriously?
women.
I know. Oh my God. I know. It's giving. You know what it reminds me of, honestly? It reminds me of the primordial mothers.
Speak more to that.
Because the primordial mothers, okay, they like were like initiated to come to Earth, right? And they didn't need sperm to create life. They were just like, it was almost like Mary vibes. You know how Mary was just like impregnated by like the universe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened to a lot of these women. Like, um, not, I think it's like Isis's mom's vibes, you know? Like,
Oh
you
my
know,
god.
they were like they like carried life inside them and started the lineage right there just by being pregnant and being on earth. And they were saying that a lot of these women didn't have faces. They were just like this voluptuous like matriarchal body that just like birthed, you know, the
Wow.
first line, you know? So it's like Adam and Eve is such a patriarchal story. It's like, okay, but who
Yeah.
birthed Adam and Eve, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that is the primordial mothers. They birthed the first, you know? That's actually the true matriarchal lineage. It's not this patriarchal story that's fucking fake news,
Oh my
you
god, yeah.
know?
Don't get me started on how much things have been rewritten and
It's
how much things
it's so
don't
annoying.
make sense.
No, no. You know
It's
another
wild.
thing that I just learned recently? It's actually the Father, the Mother, and the Holy Spirit. It's not the
Mm.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. They have just tried to single-handedly erase women from every
Mm-hmm.
fucking aspect of everything. You know? And it's just like you can't erase women because we're the life bringers. You would be nothing without us.
And this ties into the mirror talk we were talking about. It brings out the insecurities, right? The
Yes.
men feel
Yes.
insecure about the
Yes.
power of women, the power that they have in
100%.
their womb. So they're like, we got to shut that down.
Yeah. Because they can't do it. That's almost like giving jealous again, right? With that like energy. And it's like
That
you can't.
reminds me, what was it? I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. I think
No,
it
go
was the
ahead. Go ahead.
Catholic Church or something. They
Yeah.
started persecuting midwives because they lessened the pain of mothers giving birth. So
Right.
they started persecuting midwives and calling them witches. Or was it
Mm.
Protestants? Calling them witches and like just persecuting them because they believed that, oh, because the Bible says that you have to give birth in pain, then
No.
anything that alleviates that is
No.
witchcraft.
No. You're actually supposed to give birth and it be like an orgasm.
I heard that.
Yeah, but because we've programmed ourselves to so much of like
Mm-hmm.
this is meant to hurt, this is bad, this is painful. Oh my God, la 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 la, right? Like that's not how true birth is supposed to be. True birth is supposed to be orgasmic. It's supposed to be a spiritual ass moment between you, Mother Earth, and your child, you know?
I've heard a
And
lot of
they've
women
taken it
speaking
away
to
from us.
that.
Yeah, they've taken it
Yeah.
away from us. And a lot of women are actually finding their way back. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's funny, like one of my first initiations to being a healer, my one of my really close friends was actually pregnant and she was scared. She was like, I'm really, really scared to have this baby. She was not it was not planned. It was kind of like a oops, you know, not expecting this. And I told her, I was like, listen, I hear you with your fear, but you need to like manifest that this birth is going to go well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like manifest the birth that you want. So every day for 5 minutes leading up until she gave birth, she would sit and visualize her birth and how she wanted to go, how she wanted to feel, how she wanted it to be. And then it came time, she called me. She's like, Leyla, my water broke. And I talked to her for a few hours. And on the phone, she had her baby in the shower just like she wanted to. And she told me,
Wow.
Leyla, it wasn't painful. It felt exactly like my visualizations. And I was
Wow.
like, this is the way we have to get back to
Mm-hmm.
birth. I talked to another woman, she's my client too, she's pregnant. And I was like channeling for her, and I saw her with like this big willow tree
Mm-hmm.
birthing her child, holding on to the tree and breathing with the tree. I'm like, these are the things that we need for the women who are in birth. It's
Yeah.
nature, it's being natural, it's a visualization, it's tapping back into you, you know? Like, fuck all these
Yes.
systems that aren't working, you know?
I wonder like how many generations have been just told that oh, it's supposed to hurt, it's supposed to hurt, to the
So
point
many.
where like you freaking actually feel it and you're not supposed to.
Yes,
That
yes.
makes zero sense. But I've
Yeah, I
also
know.
heard this thing where there was a study done on pregnant women giving birth in the ocean. Have you heard about
Uh-huh.
this? Where
No.
dolphins came.
What?
Dolphins would come and they would
That's
like do this
wild.
sonar thing and
Oh my
help the
God.
women deliver it
Yeah.
painlessly.
Yeah, because that's part of their job. That's part of their job. We're not utilizing the ecosystem. Like the tree, I saw this woman hanging on to the tree, right? And
Mm-hmm.
breathing with the tree, the rhythm of the tree to give birth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not a natural system that's already occurring to tap into. Same thing with the dolphins. That's a naturally occurring thing to tap into, but they want us to go into a hospital and be scared and cut open,
Yeah.
when most of the time you just really need Mother Earth, literally, you know?
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was like one of the kings of England that was like, I want to see my wife give birth, and that's why all of the women give birth on their backs now, because this dude
Yes,
is like,
I want
here,
to see it.
yeah, I want to
Yeah.
see it, make her lie down and spread her legs, and now in every hospital, that's all the women do. They're told to lie down, don't move.
No, that's probably one
Essentially,
of the worst positions. I feel like you need to be in like cat cow, you need to be like on your knees or bouncing. Like there's so
yeah.
many. Yeah, no, no. I feel like, and I don't want to be, I think this is why I chose a female body because I knew that me being a male wasn't going to do anything.
Mm.
you know like what the fuck is that going to do for us? Like we're still having a problem with the women. I won't reincarnate. I feel very strongly about this. I won't reincarnate until I feel that we're done with women as a man.
Wow.
you know Mm-mm. No, I'm done with it. And also not to talk about my family or anything. But I know, and I feel like you might feel this too. In a past life in my family, there was a boy. There's actually a boy that's supposed to be born into my family. So basically, it's me and my sister, right?
Uh-huh.
There's supposed to be a boy that's like in between us. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so she's the oldest, I'm the youngest. There's supposed to be a boy in the middle. But because the patriarchal programming is so toxic in my family, that this boy would have been bred patriarchal shit and
Mhm.
he would have destroyed our family. And in past life, he did destroy our family. And in past life, I think that one of us actually ended up killing him because he was evil.
Oh
So I
wow.
think that we're not allowed to have men in my family because we're not learning that lesson. So I feel like if
Oh
somebody
my
were to
god.
give birth, it would be me to a boy, because that's the chain breaking.
Yeah, you broke it. You're not going to program him the same way. Can I speak to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
There is something in soul contracts. There's a program called The Disappearance of Family, and
Yeah.
it literally essentially just speaks to what you said. It
Yes. Yeah.
means that if a lineage, like if your ancestors have continuously stepped
Yes.
away from their spirituality, stepped away from love and acting out of their heart space, you are going to see like the lineage essentially like drop. Like you're going to
Yeah.
have either be infertile and not be able to have kids, or have less and less kids until the lineage dies off, so that you
Yes.
won't keep producing
Yes.
toxic
Yes.
systems, toxic programs into consciousness, into
100%.
society.
Yes, yes. And I feel like my dad wanted a son so bad. He
Mm.
actually, it's funny because my sister was like, people always say, me and my sister are 14 years apart. My sister, they always say, oh, you were the oops. And I was like, no, bitch, I was planned. My sister was the oops. You got the story twisted, babe. Um, so my sister was the oops, okay, that kept my parents together.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came along, right? And my dad, my mom and dad had planned for me very like meticulously. And my dad, before, he like got my mom pregnant, he was like really taking care of himself. He was eating a lot of eggs. He was eating a lot of nuts. He was trying to do everything that he could to call in a boy. He wanted the boy to be strong. He wanted the boy to lead the legacy, to be tall, to be this, to be that. Well, guess what? He got me. And I am a big ass girl. And I am a
look
big
at you
ass
leading the
mirror to him.
legacy.
Yeah, there was no boy, it was me, right? And I know that he could not have this boy because he would have passed very toxic patriarchal
Yeah.
programming that comes from the depths of Iran. And that would have killed our line. So this boy never happened. And then my sister had a child. My sister had a girl. Again, no boy, right? And I feel like for me, I've always connected with the spirit baby of a boy who wants to be born. I know his name, I know everything about him, and he wants to be born, and he only will be born through me if I make that choice.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's that.
That I vibe with that so hard. Like I completely understand what you mean, and I almost wonder, like, because now all of the families I know that just always have girls, I'm like thinking back, like, do they have toxic masculinity issues?
They
Like,
do. Yeah, they do. Even if it's not on the surface, it's very deep, you know?
I feel like it's calling the dads, it's calling the father figures to heal, it's calling them to soften, like
Yes.
let go of like the control, let go of
Yes.
all of the stuff that you're taught, and it's just not happening.
Yes, yes, yes. All literally all of the above. Yes, yes, yes. I don't think my dad could have sustained that relationship. And when I look into his family, you know, the men in his line are dying. They're very broken men, you know, and I just don't think that, you know, spirit was going to continue the lineage through him. And I know that if I get pregnant, it'll happen really fast and it'll be a boy. I just don't know if I want to bring life into this world. You know, like I don't know if it's safe, and I don't know if I want to like leave that child without me, you know? Like that doesn't feel like comfortable for me, you know, to be like bye, you know, like
whenever I hear somebody bring that up, I'm like, okay, like old soul, like that is so, first of all, you're very, very aware of your karma, you're very aware of that kind of responsibility and that kind, like the repercussions of it, not just throughout this lifetime, but past lifetimes, future lifetimes.
Yeah.
And whenever I hear women say that they don't know if they want to bring life into the world,
yes,
I immediately know that they are just like, I almost want to say in a higher dimension, like in another dimension where you're like, you guys aren't seeing what we're seeing.
Right. It's not safe. It doesn't feel safe, you know? It doesn't feel safe. And there's so many children, and this is something that me and my best friend talk about all the time, is that, like, you know, we don't really want to have kids. We want to help the kids that are already here. You know, like that didn't have a chance, that just, you know, that needs somebody, you know, like we're both therapists, and I feel like, you know, we would be kick-ass parents. And I feel like there's nobody I'd rather be a parent with than my best friend, you know?
The last lady that told me that she doesn't know if she wants to bring in kids into this lifetime was a soul fractal, like a soul piece of Mary Magdalene's soul.
Oh shit.
So this is the kind of stuff that you are channeling. You are channeling like ascended masters. You are channeling wisdom that is really, really ancient. And I know that you feel that. I know that that's why you do the work that you do, and why you have the opinions and the mindset that you do, because that's not of this world.
One of my biggest fears, I'll tell you, is being put into jail for my authenticity. And you said it a couple times.
Guess
and I'm like,
what? Yeah, it's because you had.
Yeah, that shit scares the fuck out of me, dude.
You guys, I'm telling this to the audience too. If you guys ever have like these fears that seem irrational, there's a high likelihood that it's because it's happened to you in a past life. Like, I'll speak to my eldest daughter a little bit, because she always has. She's really, really scared of being abducted, and like I try to assure her and calm her down, and like that fear always presents itself, and I'm like, I wonder if it's because it's coming from a past life.
Yes.
So Yeah, I mentioned you going to prison. I mentioned you being abandoned, like people like leaving
Yes.
your life
Yeah.
because you chose yourself.
Yes.
I
Yes.
feel like you've been in a lot of relationships where the guy is like, you either move for me or for my
Yes.
career or for my this
Yes.
and this, or we're
Yes.
over. And you're like,
Yes.
bye.
Yes. I've been getting so good at reading men. I only need 24 hours to know what their intentions are.
You need to set up a hotline.
I
You need to
know, I
set up a
really do.
hotline and
I
have
know.
women call in and be like, hey, so he said
Is
this and
he
this and
good?
this. And you're
Yeah.
going to be like, he's good.
I know. I feel I can see them. It used to be 3 weeks. And now it's a day. It's 24 hours. I can tell exactly if I would like to keep talking to them or not and their exact intentions. And I can see right through them.
That is a superpower. Where were you
Yeah.
like 10 years ago,
I know.
10 years ago, girl? I could
Girl.
have used this so
Girl.
hard. I could have used
Girl,
this
I
so
would have
hard.
helped you so hard. You know that.
If you don't set this up, business idea, guys.
Oh my God. Yeah, Colin, it's like Leyla.
Matriarch that is able to suss out toxic men immediately
Yeah.
so you don't waste your time.
Yeah, I see them so hard. I can smell them at this point. And you know what? A lot of men don't like me. And I can tell immediately if they're cool or not, and if we're gonna get along or not. I have not met my person yet. But I feel like that will happen, you know?
I just had a aha moment.
Yeah, please
You
tell
know,
me.
resting bitch face.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what that is.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Men are
Yeah.
like immediately like, oh, you have like resting bitch face. It's because your body can sense them and it's like,
Yes.
no, immediately
Yeah.
no. And they're
Yeah.
like, why are you being so rude? No.
No, I can see
They
you.
hate you and they're gonna
Yes,
say it's because you have resting bitch face, but it's because you're picking up on what they're putting out and you're
exactly.
like immediately no.
Yeah, like I'm picking up on your frequency, like your soul frequency, dude, you know? Like and I'm really tired. Something that I'm really tired of in general is men not doing the work and men
Mm,
being in this fog of energy of just like video games and my dick and sadness,
yes.
you know? And it's not the way that men are supposed to live. And I feel like I've almost, shifted away from helping men and really have
Mm.
just been like, if I can make an impact with women, I'm going to make an impact with women because they're actually willing to do the work, you
Yeah, can
know?
we talk about that? Can we talk
Yes.
about how all of the spiritual girlies have the majority of like only women clients, only female
Yes.
clients?
Yes. Yes. It's interesting. Can I tell you? I do get men into my sphere sometimes. And they're usually older. They're usually older men.
Mm,
I think it's almost because they have their own wisdom, you
mm,
know? And I feel like some of them, the men who do come through are usually either struggling and who are trying to find knowledge, or they are men who, really want to do the work. But I really don't, I would say it's like 1% men, 99% women, you know?
this is why we need a matriarchy.
I
Yeah.
know, I
The
know.
current system isn't working.
No, it's not. It's
And I feel
not.
like women have been sensing this for
Oh, so
eons.
long. So long. But I got the message the other day. It was like, this darkness has never won. It will never win. We will see again this matriarchal planet, and when you were talking about Lemuria, I was just like, I miss that so much.
Oh my, that just crap. Okay, goosebumps. That just reminded me something that I picked up
What?
as soon as you said that. In between your incarnations,
Uh-huh.
there are people that stay in the Akashic records and they do their little studying. They're like, okay, in this next life, I'm going to want to do this and that and this.
Yes.
You go to
Yes.
Lemuria.
Really?
I saw you
Really?
piecing out. I saw you piecing out and going back to Lemuria and just chilling there until your next incarnation.
Can I tell you something else too? I actually have connected with an astral husband and an astral family.
Oh,
And for a really long time, it tripped me the fuck out because I was like, because I've, in multiple, so your timelines are always changing. I've seen multiple men who they have came to me before we've met. And I'll know, okay, cool, I'm gonna like meet this dude, or this dude's energy's coming in, right? Like it depends on where I am and my expansion, right? There's always different dudes on every level of expansion, right?
Mm.
And that's how I like think of it, and I feel it, right? Like for a really long time I was supposed to be with this brown guy, then I broke a bunch of ancestral chains, he went away, then I was supposed to be with this white guy, la la la, whatever. It's changing all the time, right? And that's something people need to know about soulmates and like love, is that when your frequency changes, you call in different people.
Yeah.
That's just the truth, because if they're not matching your energetic frequency, you're not a match anymore, even if you're a soulmate. So, anyways,
I think I told you about that. I think I told you that uh when my soul like knew that I needed to leave my toxic relationship,
yeah.
I had a dream. I had a dream of my current hubby's higher self coming to me
See,
with a message. It was that frequency shift. It was that frequency
yes,
shift where I was like,
yes,
we're
because you
not doing this anymore.
decided,
We're done.
yes,
Done.
yes, you decided you were done, right?
Mhm.
So that probably broke some chains in your lineage, right?
Mhm.
And then you shifted into that new timeline and that new frequency, and that new timeline, that new frequency is going to call in somebody new.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same old. Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because more people need to understand this, honestly, I feel like. And then
Yeah.
like I kept seeing this guy, and he was like he's like this ginger guy. He has like red hair. My kids, I have two twins in the astral. They're like
Oh my
two
god.
twin boys with red hair, big curly red hair. And then I was like, who are these people? Because it was like fucking me up, because I'm like, am I calling in this guy? And we would like have sex in the astral all the time, and I'm like, what, are you coming to me? No, no, no. And he told me, he was like, I'm your husband waiting for you here when
Oh,
you're done with your lives.
in Lemuria?
Yeah, that's what it's giving. Or like the
Oh my
astral,
god.
like whether that's, whether my astral plane
Now
is
we know
there.
why you
Yeah.
visit there.
Yeah,
You're going to see your babies
I
and
know,
your
I know.
hubby.
Yeah, and they're so happy, like they're always in the frequency of just
Oh
happiness,
my
you know?
gosh.
And it did break my heart a little bit, because I found out that he wasn't gonna reincarnate in this life, and I was just like, fuck, so I have like no option to meet you.
Okay.
And he was like, no, I'm waiting for you. And I'm like, okay.
This is giving me the vibe that like mommy had to go to work.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
clock
uh-huh.
in at Earth. Let
Yes,
me go through this shift of this timeline real fast, and then I'll come back.
yep.
I'll be home by 5.
This life was super intentional for me, because I had a lot of shit to clean up, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I've been told this too, like by other like numerologists, that like I do have karma to pay in this life, and I came to experience all of it. You know?
Mm.
Like I came to give and receive, and to like really end it.
Yeah, and to shift that storyline for yourself
Yes,
for
yes.
this timeline and
I
others,
had to.
because I saw the rest of your timeline. I feel like you've been through the the ringer.
Yeah.
You've been through the ringer, and you already had that pivotal moment. My head is getting away from me. Like my
It's okay.
mind is racing faster than my tongue. You've already had that pivotal moment, and now it feels like you're entering a season of ease. And that doesn't mean that shit's not going to pop up, right? But
Yeah.
you are not going to be experiencing that abandonment that you felt, that
Mm,
where you were like punished for
yes.
being yourself, that
Yes.
you have in other lifetimes.
Part of myself, can I tell you this too? You're gonna enjoy this. So
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw an astrocartographer recently, and she was telling me, she was like, oh, where you were born, there was like 10 different lines there. So if like people are like, what's astrocartography? Astrocartography is how your astrology lines up to like the world map, right? And like
Mm-hmm.
what places you can go that are really good for you or really bad for you or really going to trigger you, right? Or they're going to bring
Mm-hmm.
abundance or soul family, right? So where I was living, which was like the Philadelphia area, was there was like 10 lines intersecting there. So this place like really built me, but I went through a lot of hardship there, right? I had a Mars line there. Mars is the planet of war and opposition, okay? And on my Mars line, it was all about scarcity and survival, right? It was
Mm.
all about just living, just
That
making
makes
it,
sense
right?
for the city of Philly, honestly.
It's very rough and tough there, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
I moved, right? I moved to Delaware. And now I'm not living on that Mars line anymore, right? So
Oh.
my whole work life balance has shifted because I'm coming out of burnout for 31 years of
Yeah.
I have to work to feed myself and my
Mm-hmm.
family of scarcity and fear. Now there's no scarcity and fear ruling my life, so now I don't know how to work anymore. So I'm relearning like how to do work, you know, and it's funny you bring it
I see
up.
you redefining it. I see you
Yes,
redefining
yes.
what has to be
What
work. Did
work?
we speak about this before?
Yes,
Where
yes,
we're like, we don't see that the future is going to have like money at all, that
yes.
it's just going
No,
to have like an
yes,
energy exchange. Did we speak
yes.
about that, or did I speak
No,
about something?
we did not speak about that, but that's been coming through. There always be an exchange, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not going to be money because the money is going to collapse.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I love that you said that. Like everybody needs to know that for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so interesting because it's so tough to imagine a world without that.
I know. Isn't that crazy? But I do think that we will see that in our time, you know?
If the matriarchy kicks up, and I
Continue.
feel like that's what's happening. You're like the first, what is it, first line of defense, or the,
Yeah.
oh, front line, there we go, front lines.
Yep.
You're on the front lines, and you are healing so much feminine wounds, so much
Yeah.
of,
I need to like deepen into that a little bit more and like talk about this more. Like you're inspiring me to like really
that is
go
your
there.
calling, girl, like,
Yeah, yeah. Like I am here to wake up the women. I am here to
yeah.
wake them up, bring them back to their tools, to all of their energetic healing modalities, like their inner wisdom, like, all of that shit. And it was interesting because this was like coming up through like Reiki energy healing.
Hmm.
I do like attunements for Reiki energy healing, but I feel like my attunement is so much deeper than that because I'm
Hmm.
waking up the feminine.
Yeah, there
Like
it
it's not
is.
just like a
You
it's not
found the
just a
words for
Reiki
it.
attunement. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a post about this. And
Yes.
I'm like, no, I couldn't make a post about this until we talked about this and I could say that out loud.
Yeah, I mean that's why you come from, originally your soul comes from a matriarchal system. That's why you insist on incarnating as women, because first of all, I feel like women evolve faster because we are
Yeah.
put through more crap.
Yes.
Um, but that's why you're, because you are seeking to heal that, and there's so much wounding there. There's so, like, I feel like Earth is just like saturated with
Yes. Yeah.
feminine wounds
Yes.
and female pain.
Yes. Yes. And I feel like it's purging right now.
Yeah.
And it's really harsh. It's very harsh, and it affects all women are feeling this in some way, shape, or form. Even if they're still in the fog, they're still feeling this.
This reminds me of something that I read. I don't know what it was, but I'm just gonna say it. Maybe it will ring a bell for you.
Okay.
It
Okay.
reminds me of somebody noticing this pattern, and it's it's like they're like, notice how whenever women get too powerful, whenever they are getting too empowered and stepping into their femininity, their power, their themselves, immediately what society does is try to knock them down a peg. They start
Yeah.
glamorizing heroin chic. They start
Yes.
glamorizing women that are like thin as a
Yes.
toothpick,
Yep.
and they're like, this is what you should look like.
Yep.
But whenever they're like, okay, like we need to like get women out of like their like depression and everything, they're like, they start glamorizing women that are curvier, women that have more
Yes.
curves, hourglass figures, right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you can literally see it. They're doing it again with like
Yep.
all the Ozempic shit and shit. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, let's like get them thin again. Let's get them hating themselves again," and
Yeah,
it's like,
focus all
"No."
of that hate inward so that they're too
Yep.
distracted by, am I 100 pounds yet?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, "No, I'm going to be strong. I'm not going to be thin. I'm not going to be fit. I'm going to be ready for the next apocalypse in my body."
I feel like Lizzo is
Yes. Yes.
running that race so hard. Like she
Yes.
is
And another thing
shifting it so
she
deeply.
keeps saying too, she's like, yeah, like everybody keeps like saying like, "Oh, you did Ozempic," but she was like, "No, I didn't." She actually did it. She took her time with it and like lost weight again, but it was more like I want to get strong, I
Mm,
don't, and like I want to be fit, like I want to be able to move in my body, and I feel like like that inspired me to do the same because I was almost 400 pounds, and it wasn't about needing to lose weight. It was about like
mm,
reclaiming my body, and like
yeah.
being able to move again. Like last year, I mean, I've broken so many chains already, but I know I have so many more to go. And last year, I actually broke my leg. And I had to get surgery. I slipped on black ice, and really,
Jesus.
really hurt myself. And I couldn't walk for 6 months. So I was like laying in a bed for 6 months, and I gained a lot of weight, and I had to literally learn how to walk again last year.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and that was a chain that was coming up for me of like, you can't work like a workhorse anymore or you will
Mm.
die. Like you
That is
will
such a good
die.
example of like the universe be like, if you don't slow down, I'll slow you down.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And can I tell you, because I'm spiritual, it happened a week to the minute after my 30th birthday.
For your Saturn return,
Yep.
like you were
Well,
smack
my
dab in the
my
middle of it.
Saturn return had started on my birthday when I was 29, because my Saturn, because I'm a Capricorn, my
Mhm.
Saturn is in, I think it's either in Aquarius or it's in Capricorn, so I'm towards the end of like 30, 31. 31
Mhm.
is really when it's over for me. It's
Mm.
not everybody is like that depending on when their birthday is. Some people will finish it by 30, but like I didn't finish mine till I was like 31, and it started for me on my 29th birthday. My 29th birthday, I ended up in the hospital with
Wow.
like a really bad case of throwing up, like food poisoning. And then 30 years old, I broke my leg a week after my birthday. My birthday, I'm born at 4:24 p.m. and I broke my leg at 4:24 p.m. a week after my
Jesus.
birthday. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. Like it's wild. I remember like it was when it was happening, I like looked at my friend and I was like, I told her, I was like, "Just leave me. Like, just leave me. Just keep
Oh, dear God.
going. Just keep going. Just leave me." And she
That
was
makes
like,
so
"I'm
much
not gonna
sense.
leave you." Yeah, I've
That
been
makes so much
left.
sense
I've been left.
because karmically, around your birthday time is when you start reevaluating
Yeah.
your contracts. Did I speak to you about that?
You told me about this in terms of our person in charge, of how we don't know if we're going to last because of our birthday coming up. And you told me people make decisions around their birthday with
Yeah,
their contracts of like, what the fuck are we doing? You
they
know?
do. They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And I've noticed it. I've noticed it that a lot of people pass
Yes.
before, like the month before, the month after their birthday, because it's like an evaluation period. Like your spirit essentially does this kind of like a debriefing, and they're like, okay, let's see
Yeah.
where we're at, let's see where we're headed, if it's
Uh-huh.
in a good direction. Like some, like I've heard of, like I've done soul contracts for people that we're like, okay, like we've gone completely far off, or
Uh-huh.
the soul is so like damaged that they need a replacement. Like there's going to be
Wow.
another soul coming in
Wow.
instead.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I'm losing my
That's
voice.
wild. That's wild.
So yeah, that's not by accident. It was the week before your birthday. Your soul was like,
Yeah.
things need to change.
Yeah, things need to change. And it pushed me so hard. It pushed me to really bad places, but also huge reevaluation of my whole life, you know? And I
Yeah,
know that,
you're literally clearing all the karma, girl.
yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
let me
yeah,
get
yeah.
the having to be in bed for 6 months, this and this and this and this.
Yeah, and I had to learn how to work differently, you know, and like
Yeah.
adapt. And like, I also learned during this time because I went no contact with my dad during this time.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that like I can succeed without my parents. I
Mm.
actually can succeed very, very hard without my parents. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I don't need them around. I want them around, you know?
I feel called
Yeah.
to mention.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, we're gonna get into the parent stuff.
Uh-huh.
I feel
Uh-huh.
called to mention. This isn't about parents. I feel called to mention that you know, like those Instagram pages. I rarely see them now, but I've seen some influencers talking about how they get paid just for their energy. Like they just need to exist. They don't offer services. They
Yeah.
don't offer this and that. They just get paid to exist. I feel like that's the level of ease coming in for you because you're going to heal that workaholic in you
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting? Can I tell you this too? This goes with
Hmm.
this. In the month of June. So I don't, so for people who don't know, right? Like I started to, and I think this is how you found me, right? Like was on Threads and I was talking about my work, right? And I was
Hmm.
talking about like all the people I'm helping, right? And like the
Hmm.
shit that I'm doing and just speaking my truth and telling them, you know, about what I'm doing. And you know, for a long time, I went viral multiple times on Threads. And for since December 2024 until May 2025, I was booked almost every single or every other day in sessions
Wow.
because I had gone viral so many times on Threads talking about my work that people were just like flooding me, right?
Girl, give me
So
some of that energy.
girl, I got you. First of all, also anybody who's considering getting a fucking like doing this work, do it with her, okay? Like this fucking soul contract shit changed my life and fucking validated me so hard. And girl, we gonna get your shit out there. Don't you fucking worry. Um, this is too fucking good, okay?
It
Um,
really is.
and
It changed my life.
the magic you're using, I didn't know you were like using and weaving all of those different skills and like practices. I'm like, dude, no, there's no fucking way. We need this shit so bad. So basically, what was I saying? What was I saying? Fuck.
Oh my god. You were
Oh my God.
just talking
Oh, I
about
went viral on Threads multiple times.
mhm.
I got slammed in readings and like bookings and sessions and la la la, right? The month of June, the month of July, and the month of August are bare. There is no sessions. There is nothing. It's all done.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's interesting how I went from like working, 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 and then spirit, it feels like gave me the summer off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just happened like so seamlessly and easily. And I'm like, oh, so now my homework is
Uh-huh.
to focus on myself and how easy things can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I might fight it. I think I might fight it a little bit.
I think you will. I think you're
Yeah.
gonna get a little
Yeah, like
fidgety.
yeah, I'm probably gonna get bored. And something when I get bored is sometimes I'll get sad. So I feel like I'm gonna have to like work through that, you know, and like
Mm.
probably rewire and do shit differently, right? So I feel like there's a big opportunity again for me in the summertime to also reevaluate even more everything, you know?
I love that you said easy. You used the word easy because I specifically wrote down, like, when it came to this timeline, this trajectory for you, I wrote down ease. That
Uh-huh.
going into your future, it's going to be ease. It's going to be abundant, magnetic. Like, you're not going to go back into that, like,
Work hard world.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know what's interesting too? My favorite way to make money is either in my sleep or while I am like very disconnected from social media. It
Mm.
almost makes the money sweeter for me because I really didn't do anything for it. You
Mm-hmm.
know? Like I was just like you said, it was just being paid to be myself.
Yep.
You know? Yeah.
There it is. You're already doing it.
Yeah.
You're already doing it.
It's been a little bit of a struggle, I'm not gonna lie, but it has happened and it feels like a whole body orgasm.
Mm.
You know? You know? That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like.
Oh my God.
Mhm. It's like it's like even your fingers are orgasming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when do your fingers get to orgasm? You know? That's what it feels like. That's
Girl.
what it feels like. Yeah. 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 So it's really powerful and I feel like once I like harness this energy too, I'm going to teach other people how to do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I don't want, and that's another thing about me too. I don't want to like gatekeep information, you know? Like I'm not here to be like, oh, this is how I made $20,000, but you can't do it, you know? It's like, no, I want to tell you like how I got here so you can fucking do it, you know?
You know how that's also freaking healing the feminine wound, because you're shifting the focus for women from feeling like they need their body to make money, they need the
Yeah.
physical stuff to make
Yes.
money, to be of worth.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
shifting that inward and being like, no, it's just your energy.
It's just your energy. And I feel like I need to almost take my advice even more of like,
Mm,
my energy is speaking to people even when my mouth is not,
mm.
you know? And like,
Yeah.
especially when it
Your
comes to
energy
like
walks in
men.
front of you.
Yes, exactly. Like when it comes to men, right? Like I need to like know too that like my energy is speaking to them. I don't even need to open my mouth,
Yeah.
you know? Like that's a precedent at this point. And I feel like, you know what? This podcast is helping me process so much of my own shit by slowing down and like hearing you too, like bring all this shit up. I'm like, yeah, like this is exactly what I needed right now at this
Therapy
time.
sesh.
Yeah, to like move through everything, you know, because it's been
Mm.
everything all at once, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is the part. So I usually do like soul contracts for people. I send them the document. Sometimes they book the intuitive call with me,
Uh-huh.
and it's never just like me going through the soul contract with them. Like we're having a conversation, and this is a part of the reason why I have such a hard time explaining exactly what happens, because once you start like essentially getting, once I give you the downloads from your soul contract, like things just start to snap into place. And I don't
Yeah.
know how to define that,
Yeah.
but
I
there's all
know.
these aha moments that you have. Like I had them too when I read mine,
Right. Right.
and it's
Yeah. No,
freaking wild.
yours was so good. Like, I can't even tell you. I've had like a lot of like readings and I've had a lot of people look in my records, but you really like fucking killed it. And I'm like, dude, everybody needs to come see you. Your medicine is so potent. You need to fucking teach this, right? Like, I want to take your class.
We didn't even start like talking about your past life, girl, and how
Dude, let's
insanely
let's
freaking
fucking go
beautiful it
there.
was.
Let's fucking go there. Tell them. Tell
All
them.
right.
Tell them the tea.
Okay. So the same energy that I was talking about in the beginning, where you're this like grandma energy where you don't give a fuck about anything,
Uh-huh.
no filter, authentic, raw, real, funny as hell. Like I saw you when went into your Akashic records. I usually see rooms where like ancient rooms, like stone rooms, you know. Your room was essentially a greenhouse, and it was filled to the brim with plants, ivy, vines just draping off of everything, and the ceiling was glass. And you were just chilling there. Like you were talking to the plants. It felt like you had this rapport with them, like you had your own language with them, and you were like so in your element. I don't even know how to, I feel like this is important for me to mention. I feel like you've been around for such a long time, because there's this like unfazedness about you, where like I'm in your room, and usually like I'll have souls come up and they'll be like, here, I want to deliver a message. You're just sitting there like watering plants, chatting up a storm, and then you notice me, and like I try to like start talking to you, and you pull out, you kind of like wave over a cabinet out of the vines that are all on the walls. You wave over a cabinet and it opens, and there's all these tinctures and herbal remedies and everything.
Okay.
And I got the sense that you have been using nature as work for a very long time. And this kind of makes sense why you've seen like that woman birthing at the willow tree, right?
Yes.
You know the power of nature, you know how to utilize it, and you know how to use it as medicine because you've done it in many, many lifetimes before. And there's just so much ancient knowledge within you available to you that, I mean, think about the range that this conversation has had. Just like this conversation alone, we have talked everything under the sun because you are just a fountain of knowledge, and it's not just coming from this life.
No, this has been a culmination of all the lives, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, I don't want to gatekeep this information. I'm not a fucking asshole. I'm not a fucking elitist, you know? Like, I want you to know just like I found out. You know what I mean?
It's like you said, there's no competition. We're all
Yeah,
trying to
exactly.
get
Yes.
to an enlightened space, a more enlightened space, a more evolved version of reality. And this ain't it.
Honestly, yes, and I feel like my people see that really hard in me. Like, there's no competition here, you know? Like, I just want you to be better than who you were yesterday. That's all I can ask, you know? That's all I can ask for anybody, you know? Like, and there's a lot of competition in the spiritual community, and like, that is so not my vibe. I like hate that shit so much. I'm like, that's not it. You know, that's not how we get through shit, you know? That's just recreating the wheel, you know?
It gives me the ick. It gives me the ick.
Yeah, it gives me the ick too.
Incorporating
Yeah, you're just incorporating the patriarchy again.
Yeah, there we go.
Jesus, yeah, like, stop. Oh my God.
Can we manifest real quick? Can we manifest a reality where women get to rest on their periods?
Oh my God, what a fucking dream.
Dude, I keep seeing stuff, like I keep seeing things of how women are working with their cycles, not through their cycles, and aren't utilizing the same 24-hour energy that man has, and they're using the lunar cycle, right?
Right.
So I feel like in a matriarchy, the matriarchy you came from, that would be a thing.
Yeah, it would be a thing. It would be a thing. Yeah, because because it benefits the woman, right? And we need that if they're going to be the life bringers here. You know, you need to respect the women. That's just point blank, period. They are your elders, you know? Yeah. And I feel like we are trending towards that. I think that's why everything is so fucked up right now, is because we're ultimately leading there and birthing that, but fuck, it's painful, you know?
I've noticed that showing up in my reality and in my timeline. I've noticed that there's this shift where women are slowly and quietly transitioning to a better system, to a matriarchy.
Yes.
And that kind of, remember how in the beginning I told you I think I'm going to have a message for your friend?
Yes.
I think this is the message. And I think it's not just for her, which is maybe why I need to mention it now. But okay, it's also for a client that I just had, because she's also going through this. If you guys are starting to feel stuck, if your friend, or if you're listening and you feel stuck, you feel stagnant, you kind of feel like this numbness or this emptiness, and you feel like there's something wrong with you, it is because you are integrating into a higher timeline. And I think that is happening to a lot of women right now, especially women that are really in tune with themselves, their body, and the energy around them. Like I think your friend is. And you're kind of like a catalyst for her. I feel like you are the driving force to her energy. You're kind of like, come on, girl, we gotta go. We gotta like pick this up. We gotta get to that next timeline where we are safe, We're
Yes.
not in a place where we're fearing the
You know what?
patriarchy.
You know what she said to me yesterday, which is so funny. So yesterday we like introduced to the ultimate healers, like I told you, like my script, right? Like la 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 la, which is pretty big deal because like if you've never written your own script, it's kind of terrifying to have people read it and be like critiquing it and be like, this really works really well. This was shitty. Like, it's not easy to like put yourself out there like that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
she actually was like reading my script and she was like, Layla, I need to like utilize your scripts more. Like, I need to utilize your medicine more. And like, when
Mm-hmm.
she said that, I knew that like something inside of her had like woken up even more of like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
we could really do this and like be doing this forever, you know?
She's jumping on another timeline. You should
Yeah,
tell her that.
I will. After this, I will. And also, she's totally listening downstairs anyway, so she can hear. I keep burping during this. She can hear me, so I feel like she's gonna be like, "What do you guys talk about me?" And then I'll tell her. I'll be like, "Girl, shit be going down."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel
no,
like
she
there's
actually
like,
really needed that. She actually really needed that message a
oh,
lot.
good.
Yeah, I feel like you know her too, like from like past life. You're like, oh yeah, yeah, Sarah, remember?
I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like a lot of the spiritual girlies I meet, I'm like, are we the same soul? Are we a piece of the
Yeah,
same
right.
soul? I'm
Like,
like, I feel like
do
we're the
I
same
know
person.
you? I know. I've been coming into contact with so many people like that, and like all of you guys are from Threads, which makes me feel like, I always was told you keep saying you're like, oh, you're such a good writer. I was told like most of my life that I was a very bad writer.
What?
So yeah, yeah. Like I was always critiqued for my writing of like,
No.
oh, it's too in your voice. Like write more like a robot, you
Oh
know?
my God.
Yeah, and I
Well,
would
there's the
get really
past life
upset.
karma coming up again. There's like that past
Yeah,
life crap coming up where they feel like you need to sound a specific way and not be yourself. Like be
yes.
yourself less. Like
It
no,
was
no, thank you.
happening legitimately in like third and fourth grade, dude. Like fifth grade,
Come
sixth
on.
grade. When they're trying to like teach you how to write, it was always like your writing has too much of your voice in it,
Oh my
and
God.
you're not writing in the specific style that we're looking for, aka robot writing,
Who is telling
and
this to
that's
a third grader? I
isn't
need
that
to
sick?
know.
I know. It was like the teachers trying to like pass the standardized tests, and like have a
Mm,
good score. And it was always I always thought I was such a bad writer, And like
no.
now that I get older, I'm like, no, dude, I'm actually a
No,
really
girl.
powerful writer.
I'm telling you, this is Tim Burton level. This is like,
Oh
oh
my
my God, James
god, fuck,
Cameron level. Like, no,
dude.
you don't understand. I see this program and the best writers and directors in the business. So
Wow.
shut that
Wow.
down real quick because
Thank you for saying that.
there's ain't a chance in hell.
Yeah, no,
There
I
ain't a
fuck with
chance in
that.
hell.
I've been really wanting to, because like I know healers are really bad at writing about themselves sometimes because
Mm,
we've been programmed to be robot writers.
mm-hmm,
And a lot of us we've morphed into a robot writer more than we are our authentic self.
mm,
So part of my medicine too is like helping healers remember their storytelling, because storytelling is so matriarchal, number one. Number two, it's also how we pass down information for so long with
yeah.
storytelling. And I'm like, if you're a healer listening to this and you're struggling with your voice or like your writing, go back to your storytelling and remember how good of a writer you are, you know?
Mm,
When you just tell it from your point of view and your voice.
yeah.
People want to hear that, and I think and I said this the other day on Threads. I was like, I think people like me so much is because I don't sound like a robot.
Mm.
And we're all craving that human
Yes,
connection.
connection.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we're craving it. We're like starved.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I really want to talk about too. I really want to talk about this for people because Spirit is like, we have to talk about this. I really want to talk about the parents. I feel like it's so important. Can you tell them what happened with the parents?
With your parents in the past
Yeah.
life.
Uh huh.
All right. So running on that theme,
Uh huh.
running on that theme where you are constantly told in every timeline that you are too much, that your too muchness is I don't know, raining havoc on everything else. Like you were always told to tone it down and be quiet, like sit with your legs crossed. I can see that so clearly. I can see them like constantly being on your ass about having your elbows on the table, about having this and this. You need to be proper. So so your parents in that lifetime were really on your case about your duties, and it felt like they had a very specific image in mind. They had a specific thing in mind that they wanted you to do. I wouldn't be surprised if it was to marry you off to somebody.
Yep.
And you weren't about that. You were totally fine. And this is the part that made me absolutely fall in love with your soul contract. You were totally fine saying, deuces, I'm out, to
Yep.
your family. You were well off. Like you were living in the lap of luxury, and you were totally fine saying bye to all of it because you loved plants with such a passion. Like I could see you being in nature all the time, in your gardens all the time. When you were living with your parents, you loved that with such a passion. You were like, I want to be a gardener. I want to work with tinctures. I want to work with herbal remedies. I feel like you were very well versed in flower medicine
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
lifetime.
Yes.
I feel like that very strongly for you because in that lifetime specifically, I'm seeing more garden flower vibes instead of like herb vibes, like you know.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
essentially, you were totally fine saying bye to all of that. Your parents are like, "But we're gonna cut you off," and you're like, "I don't care." You
Their
left.
worst
You
nightmare.
went to another city,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
you lived really like meekly. You know, like you weren't living extravagantly, but you had everything you needed, and you were so happy. Your soul was so content and fulfilled because you made so much connections in a small village, and you became well known throughout the village as the plant lady. And people would come to you all the time. They're like, oh, like this and this, I have this infection. And you're like, I got something for that.
Yeah. That
It
is
was
so
so cute,
coded in me. Yeah.
and it felt so authentic. And there's just something so beautiful when a soul expresses itself so authentically, and you're well versed in that. It's what you were meant to do in this lifetime, it's what you did in that lifetime, and you're like shifting that for your other lifetimes as well.
Yeah.
And now you're using this medicine, this I feel like this medicine of authenticity to reconnect women to their authentic self, because that's what attracted me to you, because I'm like, how do I be authentic? Like they don't teach you that in school.
No, they don't. No, they don't. No,
They also
it's
don't teach you
almost
how to pay
giving.
your taxes.
No, they don't. Yeah, if that would have been nice if they taught us that, wouldn't
Uh-huh.
it? No, it's it's interesting. The program is called Authentically You. I can like
Wow.
feel it already, like coming to life. It's so interesting that you said that. Yeah. Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah.
That's where your fear of abandonment comes in, and you literally have a subconscious program called the prison program.
Oh,
that
yeah.
manifests in like reality sometimes. Like sometimes it's an actual prison sentence. So I'm not surprised at all that you mentioned that you were in prison in another lifetime. You were definitely, that was going on for you,
Yeah,
for being
I'm
yourself.
scared I'm scared it's gonna happen again, honestly. But um I told myself that if it does happen again, then I'll just get all the people in the prison to like actually revolt and rise up. So
Girl, you should watch Martha Stewart's
Mm.
documentary when she was in prison for a few months, because I feel like
Uh-huh.
that's gonna
Resonate.
ease that fear for you, because she was like rehabilitating the other prisoners.
Yeah, that's what I feel like I would be doing, you know?
It was
Like
so cute.
I probably would go to jail and become really ripped because I'd be like working out all the time. And then I would also probably be like counseling the other women and really going deep and like making an impact, you know?
I could see you doing that. I wouldn't be surprised if you actually make a program that works with women that are
Yeah.
in either
And
women's shelters or imprisoned. I
that
wouldn't be
would be
surprised.
amazing. Amazing. I've always been drawn to that population, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Another population I was drawn to too is women with eating disorders. And
Mm,
that was a really big population for me that really opened my eyes to, wow, we're killing the women.
yeah.
Because even like the eating disorder treatment is so patriarchal. It's really bad.
Yeah.
And I remember being there and I was like telling the administrators, I'm like, this isn't working, and I was an intern and they tried to silence me multiple times.
Wow.
Yeah, they had like hired
Whistleblower.
me.
Yeah.
Exactly. They had hired me and then by the end of it, they actually fired me. Yeah. So they like took it away and I was like, fine, that's fine. You can take it away. I'm still going to finish my program and become a counselor. And I would love to not work for you because you suck.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is hurting people. And I had the women of that time. I was literally like 24 years old. And women were coming up to me and saying, hey, let us know when your practice is open
Mm.
because this isn't working. And they wanted to
It's
see an intern rather than somebody who was like fully licensed because I was actually
isn't that
hearing them.
wild?
Yeah, it is wild. It is wild because
But
the
yet
other
you're
therapists were
picking up
letting
on
them
the
down.
yeah.
Yeah, they weren't doing their fucking job. They didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They were just clocking in, clocking out. But when you're clocking in, clocking out, you're dealing with mad people's lives.
When you started talking about like mental health, I started thinking about how far or not far really mental health treatment has come. Like I think of all
Yeah.
of the women that were institutionalized because their husband wanted to have an affair or because they
Yeah.
weren't obedient or whatnot.
Oh, that happened to
And
me too. Honestly, that happened to me too. It's funny that you picked up the prison programming
mm,
because I also have seen a past life of me where my husband actually put me into a mental institution. I think that was my
there we
last
go.
it was my last life. I think it was around like the 1940s,
Mm,
1930s, 1920s. I don't think I've reincarnated since that time because I spent a lot of time
healing.
really healing and like trying to figure out how to do it better and plan it, like really planning this next life, like very, very,
Yeah.
very hard. And he put me, he, I had fell down because I was an alcoholic. I don't touch alcohol in this life.
Mm,
I don't like alcohol. I don't want to be around alcohol. I don't fuck with it. I don't care. I don't like it. There's something in me that has from the start in this life has been like, don't fuck with alcohol. So
mm,
I don't like alcohol. I think it comes from my past life of like really being an alcoholic, really losing myself. And I never want to do that again. So that happened. We would abuse alcohol together because that was really common in that time.
mhm.
And I ended up falling down and busting my head open. And he took me to the mental hospital the next day and told everybody that I tried to kill myself, even though
Oh
that wasn't
God.
really true. And I actually met this man in real life. Um,
Oh.
yeah, and that was very interesting. And I saw him very quickly and he got very scared of me and ran away
Oh.
because I was like channeling and I was telling him a bunch of shit about himself. I saw him very deeply. Um,
Wow.
yeah, and he got very scared. He ran away, and
We need to have a
yeah.
story time about like you
Oh,
channeling
I could tell some
men.
fucking stories, man. You
We
know?
need another episode. We need
Yeah,
another episode.
I honestly agree and I'm down. Yeah, but so basically what happened with him was that he put me in that mental institution. I was there and he told me, "Oh, I'll come back for you. I'll come back for you like when you get better." Right?
Mm,
So years go by, years go by. He never came back for me. And I found out that he actually had moved on with another woman and become a father because in that life I couldn't have children.
Of
And
course.
it broke me and it created mania and depression
Oh
on
my
a
gosh.
whole other level. And I feel like in that lifetime I was also lobotomized. I was also, tortured. Mental hospitals were not a place that you wanted to be in. That was not a
Yeah.
place that was safe. And I know that I met a lot of women in this life from that past life too that I've helped remember themselves
Mhm.
and remember that they're not crazy, because that's what they told us for so long.
Mhm.
And that past life, was so bad for my mental health that I actually brought in and reincarnated with bipolar issues again in this life
Mhm.
because of that past life. And that's another thing with mental health people don't talk about. You don't just have mental health problems, it comes from the past and it also comes
Because
from
your
your
soul
family.
remembers.
Yeah, your soul remembers, your soul hasn't gotten over it, right? So
Mhm.
you're coming into this life to try to work it out if you have mental health issues, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, like schizophrenia is not just schizophrenia. Like bipolar is not just bipolar. Like you don't just have these
Yes.
things, it comes from really fucked up past lives.
I have always wondered so much about the spiritual side of schizophrenia.
Yeah.
I have always been so curious about it. I don't know
Yeah.
why particularly that, but it's
I used to
interesting that you
work with
spoke
the
on
I
that.
used to work with the population and they loved me because I wouldn't say they were crazy. I would listen
Mm,
to them,
yeah.
and some of the shit they were saying, I was like, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I get what you're saying, like I
Hmm.
understand what you're saying. Like you treat them like a person. If you're gonna treat people like in shame and guilt and tell them they're crazy, they're never gonna
Hmm.
get better. They're never gonna get better.
Yeah.
They're never ever going to get better. How people get better is you hold them, you see them, you look into their
And
eyes, and you
accept
hear
them as
them,
they are.
and you accept them as they are. Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
That's the only way. You don't really have to say anything, you
Yeah,
know?
we're so
You
quick
just
to always
need to
pass
be there.
judgment and put labels on people.
Yes, yes. And that's part of the reason why I don't really work in the mental health field anymore because I
Hmm.
don't want to label people and diagnose people. That's not my job.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
That's not my job.
That's very insightful.
Yeah,
That
that
is very
I'm
insightful.
not doing that. I'm not practicing this patriarchal bullshit of every time I have to see you, I have to write a fucking note and tell them how fucked up you are and make sure that it's approved by the insurance company and then the
And
insurance
that's
company takes
that's like
all
the
the money.
survival. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw you
Yeah.
post a thread about that, about how
Disgusting.
much. Hmm.
Disgusting. Yeah, so if everybody's wondering, what that looks like as a therapist, when you have insurance, every session with a therapist is about $300. Okay?
Hmm.
Just like standard, right? I show up for the session, right? I'm the therapist. I get max 100 and max, this is maximum. I get maximum $120
Hmm.
from that unit of 300. Okay. So that means that your insurance company is taking 2/3 of the price and they didn't even show up for the fucking session.
Hmm.
So that whole model wasn't working for me. That whole model of therapy is called burnout and killing yourself.
This is like giving me Amelia Earhart vibes. This is giving me Eleanor Roosevelt vibes. Like this is giving me the energy of think about how far it's not far enough, but think about how far women have come
Yeah.
throughout history. And I feel like this is like another push that's
Yeah.
happening energetically in the
Yes.
spiritual realm from people like you, from spiritual
Yes.
healers and way showers like you that are helping bring about change. And often I
Yeah.
feel like women do it so discreetly.
Yes. We don't need to talk about it a whole lot to do it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know. And this is actually it's funny like we're talking about this too. I really have been working on in the background of everything. I've been working on another like thing that I'm trying to do of like, I focus a lot on the healers sides of things. So now I'm trying to focus on the mental health sides of things.
Hmm.
to bring change in the mental health space because it's just not where it needs to be still, you know?
Yeah.
And I really want to help therapists who are witchy really start to bridge the gap of using and utilizing like spiritual tools within their practices.
That, first of all, that's amazing, and it's
Yeah.
a great idea.
Yeah.
I especially wanted to mention that you talked about hypnotherapy. I've recently started hypnotherapy,
It's
and
so
I love
good.
my hypnotherapist. She's amazing.
Yes.
I noticed that what she does
Uh-huh.
is spiritual work. She
See?
doesn't label it
See?
as spiritual work. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
wait a minute. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I recognize this. I know
Yeah.
what like this quiet place
Yes.
in nature is. I'm like, I go there
Yes.
all the time.
Right. Right. Uh-huh. She
And
is
it's
doing
like,
spiritual work. She's just
I
not labeling
think more
it like
therapists are
that.
doing that now. Like my
They are.
mother-in-law, she was like, "Oh, I had this therapy session and they were talking about cutting cords and everything, like an umbilical cord. Just
Uh-huh.
imagine that there's an umbilical cord connecting you to somebody and you have to cut it or whatever." I'm like, "That's cutting cords. Like I know what that is.
Yeah.
That's spiritual
Yeah.
work."
Yeah, a lot of them are doing it very discreetly and
Hmm.
under like the vibes, like they're kind of doing it almost like they're scared of being persecuted. And
Yes.
part of me is like, let's stop being scared of being persecuted and just own this and like
Yeah.
do it because it's not because we're spiritual or whatever. It's because the client needs it to be able to move forward and grow and change, you
Yeah.
know? Like this is like root work and not root work as in like hoodoo root work as in getting to the problem of things, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it,
I,
because you don't get to the root of the problem, which hypnotherapy is so good at getting to the root of the problem. My
mhm.
God. My God. You can go anywhere with hypnotherapy, which makes that such a beautiful modality that more healers need to learn and therapists, like
I
anybody can
absolutely
benefit,
love it.
you
I
know? Like
absolutely love it.
it changes lives. And another thing that I really can't stand is that a lot of these practices were practices from shamans and shamanic techniques. Like
Mhm.
EMDR is a colonized version of soul retrieval.
What?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Are
They
you
whitewashed,
serious?
yeah, absolutely. They whitewashed EMDR therapy. That's the same thing we're doing in a soul retrieval. But soul retrieval is actually more powerful because we're using the actual words
Oh my
instead of
god.
saying but you're basically utilizing hypnotherapy, you're utilizing tapping, and you're utilizing a soul retrieval.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I see a shaman woman like crossing her hands and being like, so basically we were right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. These are native practices that we have
Mm,
whitewashed into patriarchal practices.
not surprised.
Yeah, no, no,
Not
no, no.
surprised.
And more people need to be saying it. More people need to be saying it and
I,
really learning the old school way instead of
yeah.
the new way.
I feel like we've whitewashed. Oh my goodness, what did I recently come across that was like there was a lot of like patriarchal boys that came in and whitewashed all religions, like took a little bit of everything and essentially made Christianity, and they were
Yes.
all about putting women down and treating them as slaves and really like pets in a household instead of as humans. And that's how we got Christianity. And I'm like, I resonate with that so deeply.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, they've had this agenda for so long.
Yeah.
This has been an agenda for a really long time. They've had to put in a lot of work for it, but essentially the message that I've been getting is very like Eight of Cups energy, where it's like you've put in so much work and it's just not working out.
Hmm.
And you're gonna have to eventually walk away from it. So we will see that soon too. Like all these plans that we had, it's not gonna work out,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
Even like government political things, like it's not gonna work out.
I really feel like there's going to be a shift there in our lifetime. I'm really excited about it.
Me too.
I feel like it has to get worse until it gets better though.
Absolutely.
There's going to be
Absolutely.
like a breaking point, and then
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
think women are going to be like, "Okay, we've done this your way long enough.
Yep. And now we need to find our
Yeah,
own
you
way.
take the
Yeah.
back seat." we're going to try to do this.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah, because if you think about it too, like with everything going on with Mother Earth, like Mother Earth is literally purging right now. That's why we're seeing so much natural destruction and disasters. It's going to keep happening, right? And I think they're going to keep happening so much that there might not be a whole lot left. And there might be where men just give up and say, I don't know how to do this. And women are going to step in and be like, okay, this is how we do this. You
oh,
know?
this reminds me of that. I think it was Aurora's song. You cannot
Ah,
eat money. You know that
mm.
one? When the
Yeah, I
last
do
tree
know
has
that one.
fallen, you
Yes.
cannot eat money.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
vibe.
Yes. It is the vibe. And it might be a little dystopian, you know?
Yeah.
It might be a little dystopian. And that's okay, you
Women are
know?
ready
That's
for
okay.
it.
Women are ready
We've
for it.
been living in a
We've
dystopia.
we've been living in hell for
We've
so
been
long.
here for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. And I miss those times so much. Like I'll just like cry and be like, I just miss those times before, you know?
Yeah,
Um, before, when, my home
in
planet.
Lemuria, where
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
visit your hubby and your kids.
Yes, yes, yes,
All right,
yes.
I could literally
I
talk
know.
to you
We'll
for
have to do another
days,
one. We're gonna
days
do
on
another
end.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna do another one.
I do want to ask you before we close up if there's
Mhm.
anything in your soul contract that you needed to address or that you felt like you needed some clarity on,
I feel
or if you
like
had any questions before we tie it up so I can kind of leave you with a sense of closure.
I just feel like everything that we talked about gave me so much closure and also so
Mm,
much insight of like, wow, this is really like you helped me get really clear on like my mission even more, you know?
mhm.
And I need to say that out loud more. And like that was very highlighted for me, you know?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have anything to say because I feel like everything that we said and talked about was exactly what I needed.
Yeah, I really feel strongly that your work with women is going to be world shifting, energetically speaking.
Yeah.
Your soul contract speaks a little bit to that, that this is going to be a worldwide thing. Like you're going to have, if you don't already have clients from various countries, you're going to, but I think you already do.
Yeah. I definitely do, but I definitely would like to be even bigger, you know?
Yeah, yeah, your message is so potent and so needed
Yeah.
that that's going to happen all on its own because the need for it, the craving that we were talking about for this work, for this healing is
Mhm.
there and it's
Yeah.
so important. That's where consciousness wants to take this. That's where
Mhm.
consciousness wants to go to lean into healing those wounds. So this is going to really be an insane blessing for you. And yeah, you're going to bless others so much. You're going to help other people on their journey towards themselves so much in a way that you can't really get from the system that's in place right now, which is why
Yes.
you're here to create a different system.
Yeah, I could see, like, honestly, like, as I get older, I could see myself stepping up and being a leader to help build the new system.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
it's all over your
absolutely.
chart. Like you got ones in there, you were meant to be a leader. And it's really interesting that there's often like there's different types of leaders. There's the leaders that don't want to be leaders, but they're like, I
Yeah.
understand that I have to take on this role because
Yeah.
it's necessary. And then there are those that want to be leaders so bad. And it's like you have to calm down, rein it
Yeah.
back and pay
Yeah.
attention and listen more. But you have this push
Hmm.
to be a
I'm ready.
leader, to share this, to share your knowledge and your experience because it's so needed and
Yeah.
it's going to shift the energy around you. It's going to shift the energy of consciousness. So you can't I feel like I wish I could somehow show you energetically. You might be able to feel it. You might be able to see the shift that you're going to make.
I'm just like sitting here with my eyes closed, just like feeling what you're saying. I'm just like
I
taking it into my body and I'm just like, yes,
as
yes,
I was
yes.
saying it, like I was literally picturing a galaxy just like swirling. And this just feels so powerful. Like your mission feels so much more than you. It feels like all of consciousness and the universe has conspired to bring about this moment where we are making a jump towards more love.
I feel that so hard. I feel that so fucking hard. I feel that. Yeah.
Anyway, I absolutely love your soul contract, and I love your soul. It is,
Dude, I love
you
your
are so
soul.
freaking cute and so freaking hilarious.
Thank you. I love your soul. I'm so glad we connected again. Like, seriously. Like, I feel like you see me so deeply, and just like hearing you talk about me and like say all of these things, like, really like means the world to me, you know?
Oh,
Like, seriously.
oh, you warm my heart. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be here. I'm so excited to watch in real time this ease flow into your life because I'm going to see it all over your threads. I know you're going to share it. And I'm so excited to hear from you.
I know. I can't
about
wait.
it. We're going
I
to
will
need to do
share.
another one because I
Yes.
feel like we've got stuff to say and it
Yeah, we
needs to
do.
be said.
Oh, hell yeah, we do. You bet we do. And I'll be back, no worries. And if anybody
All right.
wants to follow me on Instagram, you can add me on Leyla the Healer.
Leyla the Healer, guys. She is amazing. Thank you so much for letting us dive into your soul contract and your soul essence. It's absolutely beautiful. Thank you for your time. Love you so much. And if you guys wanted to get your own soul contract, you can go to my website at thesoulecosystem.com or my Etsy store, The Soul Ecosystem, and get one for yourself because it is life-changing. And catch me next Friday, guys, on the pod. Again, I shoot out episodes every Friday. All right. Love you. Have a great weekend.